Hey guys, this is Rurouni K95 here, and I'm going to be doing a newer type of video that I haven't thought of doing one, which is something that I haven't thought of doing one before. Maybe I should have done a video like this, which I have forgotten, because I haven't felt like I wanted to do a video. So yeah, as you can see, I'm going to be doing a new video, which I've never done before. And this time I'm going to be calling it The Beginner's Guide to Anime on VHS. For any person who is like the man of culture, who has owning every anime titles that are on VHS back in the 90s, which is during the VHS and the Laserdisc days, which is before DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Ultra HDs arrived, we had VHSs and VCDs. On every home video of its kind on these VHS tapes of anime. Like, if you remember seeing those before, like you remember seeing it at your local Blockbuster Video, or Hollywood Video, or particularly your local video rental shops as well. And also, there's, not to mention, there's every places and every outlets in the market as well of every anime on home video, which is on VHS back in the 90s, ranging from anime titles from distributing companies on VHSs in the 90s. For example, like Central Park Media, Anime Go, Media Blasters, Viz Video, US Redemptions, Streamline Pictures, made in conjunction with Orion Home Video, and even Funimation, and Manga Video also. There's every home video distributors as well, particularly of how what their ranging is from, particularly according to the fact of how what I come across particularly. And also 80 Vision. Let's not forget about 80 Vision, huh? You know, like when ADV Films, formerly known as 80 Vision, released countless amounts of anime released in subtitled versions on VHS and Laserdisc back in the 90s, before we got those English dubs from ADV Films back in the day as well. 80 Vision had released those subtitled ones. For example, like Devil Hunter Yoko and Battle Angel Alita. Let's not forget about these. Every occasion, just to name a few as well. For the fans, for fans. Well, it's not basically the first home video company on for its own sake as well. But what makes it great about how anime was released on VHS during the Laserdisc, the VHS and the Laserdisc back in the 90s as well, particularly, which is more different, particularly of how this has ranges from VHS releases of anime on VHSs that are dubbed in Japanese, well, with English subtitles, to English dub anime on VHS tapes that are only dubbed in English. And I had to admit that, particularly of its own kind, they're more different from others as well. Italian VHS releases of anime that are also released by Yamato Video, which is back in the 90s, also, accordingly, particularly of how, which is more different from anime VHS releases here in America during the 90s, is particularly more different from Japanese VHS releases of anime, which are only on VHS, but there's no subtitles. Like, you're watching anime in its raw format with no subtitles. It's like how you wondered how they're different than those bootleg fan sub VHSs of anime, what they used or like gotten a hold of this as well. And not only that, this is more different from recording an episode of anime from these local Japanese televisions on a homemade VHS, on those VHS recordable ones, especially where you taped off the TV, especially when you miss it. And also, same goes to those who are watching anime when they were seeing it on Toonami, like back in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s. Well, yeah, there's not only that, there's also anime that were also on KTEH. For example, like Urusei Yatsura, Ranma 1/2, Super Dimension Fortress Macross, Serial Experiments Lane, or any anime, or Martian Successor Nadesco, Full Metal Panic, Neon Genesis Evangelion, as well as every anime that was on television at the time when it was on KTEH. Some of them were also like part of Toonami when they were taping episodes on there for the Man of Culture of how they got, for example, like when they're taping episodes on television of every anime on television. For example, like Tenchi Muyo series, Sailor Moon, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Ronin Warriors, Dragon Ball series, Naruto, Mobile Fighter G Gundam, Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, on every occasions of how anime were on Toonami when they were taped off the VHSs on those recordable ones. They're more different than these ones I have right here, but I can explain. That's the particularly. That'll be a subject for another time for her anime popular. Well, yeah. That's accordingly of how I want to do this. So, basically, for the facts of how home video releases of anime, what Viz Media releases on here, they show these Viz in-store preview adverts on there. For example, this ranges from anime VHS releases, because of how I'm going to talk about particularly how this ranges from VHSs that have these sticker labels that have the Viz video logo on there, especially what they got these that says, "Do you like anime and manga? Send your name to receive a free copy of the latest Viz Shot by Mail catalog full of Japanese animation and comics merchandise in English. Anime and manga delivered to your door." Yeah, this was like back in the 90s where they had those Viz Shot by Mail promo at the end of every home video releases of anime on VHS on there, accordingly of how they do this. As how, from what I understand, basically. Oh, I'll just set this to the side right here, particularly. I have a feeling, particularly, of how they wanted to come by for this one as well. Oh, yeah, that's better. Okay, for the guide here about VHSs of anime on there, this is more different than Japanese releases on VHSs that are only in Japanese with no subtitles. Here are the ones that we got in America, particularly. Well, like, most of them on there, for example, accordingly, they have those demo for promotional sale or use, not for sale or rent on there. Like those not for rental or resale screening purpose ones on there. Like, say, for example, I have this copy of Maison Ikoku Volume 2 VHS. This has the one that has the screening purpose on here. I think this is the screening purpose copy on here. And I admit it, though. I never knew that, because this is actually a screening copy of this. More different than Maison Koku Volume 3 VHS, which I think this is the one that has the actual sticker label, particularly as well. It's like of how you researching, particularly of how you want to search for an anime VHS set, that you have find them at your local libraries back in the early 2000s, or any of the occasional video store, for example, as well. Like, there's every one of them. For example, like Gineon Pioneer VHS releases of anime, Media Blasters, Viz Video releases, Animego VHS releases, Central Park Media VHS releases also. On every occasions as well. Some stuff as well. For the Octane thing. It's like of how you're talking about some information on a music CD booklet on how any information history about the music artist in general, particularly, accordingly. Well, I explained particularly why, of how this VHS ranges from how these as well. Well, there's some Japanese dubs and English subtitled ones that are on VHSs that are ranges from Animego, Central Park Media, and also Viz Video. And not only that, there's also the ones from, I believe it was, I guess, Manga Video on here, if I'm not mistaken, of how the exact thing as well. And not only that, there's also anime on VHSs released by Bandai Entertainment. Also, like, you see the VHS releases of anime, for example, like Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, or any anime. Just to name a few I have. Or 3 is good enough, expectedly, of how what I come across, particularly of how I wanted to have a guide to anime on VHS as well. It's like the obvious same exact experience of how, well, there's some anime that are these edited versions on these Celebrity for Kids home video VHS label. Like saying, for example, Arcadia of My Youth. It was released under the English title as Vengeance of the Space Pirate, which is the English dubbed version of Arcadia of My Youth. You know, the 1982 anime movie based on the manga by Space Pirate Captain Harlock by Leiji Matsumoto, although I'm wearing this shirt as well. And exactly for the same thing for those who love watching older anime as well. And even Animego arrived with the full, uncut, unedited version of Arcadia of My Youth on VHS by Animego with the English subtitles in its original Japanese also. For the exact same reasonable thing of how what I have given the points of how what they have for every person who is the man of culture as well. And not only that, Celebrity for Kids home video VHS label released another anime film on VHS, which is also which is called Revenge of the Ninja Blade as well. Sorry, I yawned. So I think, which is the English dubbed version of The Dagger of Kamui, the classic samurai epic film on VHS, which is only an edited English dub version, where that was until Animego released it on DVD in its original Japanese with English subtitles as well. And it's like the exact obvious thing of how what comes to mind as well. So the perfectly reasonable question thing of how I wanted to come by for to talk a video like this particular. I mean, most of them ranges from VHSs that came with liner notes. Like, you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the ones that are released by Anime Go on there. Like, say, for example, like, okay, let's say I have this copy of Urusei Yatsura Only You on VHS. This was released by Anime Go, back in 1992 or 93. Yeah, if I'm not mistakenly as well. This came with the liner notes on here. There. Yeah, because it has the songs on there from the movie. Such as, for example, the songs, for example, in the liner notes of the Urusei Yatsura movie 1 Only You liner notes on there, it says, for example, like, you, and I, translated, you in Love by Izumi Kobayashi. Hoshizora Cycling, performed by Virgin VS. Lum no Ballon, performed by Fumi Hirano. Kaje Fumi no Waltz, performed by Shiori, on there as well. And I'm not going to be narrating the lyrics on here particularly, because you know what they are as well. Yeah, this is the liner notes to the Urusei Yatsura Only You VHS on there, because this has gotten hold of those liner notes. But not only that, this also includes a little information advert for the Bubblegum Crisis OVA series on here, which is released on a CLV Laserdisc set with all 8 episodes, which includes 2 music videos, 1 per month on here, of how they did this as well. Not only that, particularly, most anime on here. Well, Animego did got an English dub on the Urusei Yatsura TV series, which is translated under the title as Those Obnoxious Aliens, and the dub, and it was only on the VHS, because the rest of the series were only dubbed in its original Japanese with English subtitles on the volumes on there. For example, like VHS, Laserdisc, and DVD as well. This was back in the day as well of what I come across for this as well. Yeah, this how it wanted to come across for these as well, particularly of how what I wanted to come by on how I have the guide for anime on VHS as well. And that's the biggest example I have in general as well. For the exact same thing of how I come across for this as well. Well, there's also the biggest reasons of, well, some of the licenses from Streamline Pictures on the VHS releases were expired. Some of them got picked up by, for example, like Discotheque Media, Funimation, and Sentai Filmworks. Like, for example, on there, like Fist of the North Star, Akira, Robot Carnival, Vampire Hunter D, Twilight of the Cockroaches, on every occasions of how they're... And also Robotech 2 The Sentinels, but the English dub apparently was dubbed by Harmony Gold. So ADV Films picked up the license for it on DVD when it was originally released on VHS back in the day as well. Like during the 90s as well? Yeah. I have been coming across for this. Well, most of them on there, like the VHS tapes, are available in those box sets, what Viz Video back in the day, how they did this. Like, say, for example, like I have this copy of Rama 1/2, which is, Rama 1/2 Foul Play, which I think, this is volume 7 on VHS on there. Yeah, I think this is also available in the Rama 1/2 Anything Goes Martial Arts VHS box set on there. So it's basically season 2 of this particular series on here. And there's also season 3 and the first season also on there. And say I have, for example, I have this copy of Rama 1/2 My Fiancé the Cat Volume 4 VHS. Yeah, I think that's season 4 on here. How I wanted to know this. Yeah, because, and I admit that this was back in the 90s as well. There's dub versions of the first couple of the Rama 1/2 movies on VHSs that are dubbed in English. There's also ones in Japanese with English subtitles. What Viz Video had back in the had put out on VHS on there before Ranma 1/2 movies got the DVD releases in the late 90s, before DVDs started to become more popular as well, accordingly to the fact how I come across for this as well. Yeah. And also, same goes with these Japanese dub, English subtitled VHS sets of Ranma 1/2. Also, accordingly, you know, not to mention, which I forgot as well, huh? Well, most of them on here, particularly, of how I come across, of how I have the guide to the VHS tapes of anime, which I have as well. For anyone who is basically like the man of culture, who has in their anime collection, accordingly to the fact, particularly, of how I gotten to come by on this as well. If they could have basically known as well. Yeah. Yeah, let me check as well. Because most of these on here, like that as well, these are the ones like you see on those anime magazines on here, what you see adverted as well. For example, like on anime magazines where they show the adverts on the VHSs of anime, for example, like Animerica and Protoculture Addicts. If anybody remembers Protoculture Addicts or Animerica magazine, then you're the man of the culture who remembers those, particularly. It doesn't mean you're living under a rock, no. Particularly, growing up in the 90s, when you have these magazines where they have adverts for anime on VHSs, you remember seeing them on these adverts on those home video releases on here. Not to mention, Media Blasters had these English dub VHS tapes on here as well, accordingly as well. Like I have Rurouni Kenshin, Between Life and Death VHS. Yeah, I think there's also the English subtitled version available, if anybody remembers, has it as well, accordingly. And also, Funimation had these VHS box sets as well, if I'm not mistakenly remember particularly. Let's see, I have this copy of Dragon Ball Z Bobbity Rivals. This is the uncut VHS version. This is the one released by Funimation on here. It's also available in those VHS box sets on here before they put out the DVDs there accordingly as well. Just to consider how you remember seeing every anime titles on VHS if you had those magazines from Protoculture Addicts or Animerica, which is basically an old magazine, 90s anime magazines that you remember have back in the 90s as well. Especially if you're the man of culture. Hey, I had those magazines of Animerica and Protoculture Addicts. So this got me into the beginner's guide of how I'm going to do this video as well. So that's going to be it for my video where I have my beginner's guide to anime on VHS for today, you guys. Thank you for watching, but before we go, here's what I'm going to say for this video. Since I wanted to do a video like this as well, because I wanted to do this video particularly, although, despite I have read magazines from Protoculture Addicts and Animerica, which is another anime magazine that I have, that they were published back in the 90s as well. If you ever loved reading anime magazines on there, if you ever been collecting anime on VHS or on Laserdisc back in the 90s, this is the reason of how I wanted to do this video for those who have been collecting anime on VHS and Laserdisc back in the 90s. Hope subscribe for content. My anime planet link in the description down below. You share this video on your Twitter, Facebook if you have a Twitter, Facebook account, all the social media. Smack the like button if you enjoyed this video. If you want to check out my Anime Planet, the link will be in the description down below. If you want to check out my Anime Planet account also as well. And because I have a huge backlog of manga and anime on my Anime Planet account. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below on this video if you like as well. And also be sure to click on the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed to my channel. If you're new to my channel, smack the notifications bell button. Be sure to get notified also as well for more latest updates. Check out my Patreon, because the link will be in the description also. You have to be a grown-up to follow. And keep it otaku for this video, because I wanted to do a guide to anime on VHS that I have. For those who have been collecting anime on VHS and Laserdisc back in the 90s, that's why. This is RuRoniK95 saying thank you for watching my video. I'm glad you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Hope you have a great day. This is RuRoniK95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos. Take care.